I don't think anybody's born with a champion mind. I really like what you said there. It is a sculpture. It is something that you have to create, something that you have to... Thomas says, hi, Derek. Book of the week with Charlie Munger mentions he almost created his own psychology. Even though the tendencies are universal, the events that trigger them are universal. So does that make sense as a way to outwit your biology? I don't know. I mean, I don't... I'm trying to process what you're saying there. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm just trying to process it in my own words. And I wouldn't say that that Charlie... I don't know. I don't want to put words in Charlie's mouth. The guy's almost 99 years old. If Charlie makes it to January, he's going to be 99. 99. So shout out to Charlie Munger. I'm sure you're watching. What up, Charlie? I don't try to outwit my biology. I just try to accept it. And the more you could understand your biology, the more you could understand, what sort of organism you are, what are some of the systems that seem to be in place that influence your decision making, influence your psychology, then you're not trapped by that anymore. If you're just a stimulus response machine and you don't understand, why that's happening, you don't understand what's happening or why, then you're kind of in a loop there that you're probably unlikely to break out of. But on the other hand, if you could think of in the circumstances that your ancestors lived, why do you have a propensity to behave in certain ways? A lot of your biological programming is just to survive and replicate. So keep yourself alive, keep your family and your extended genetic kinsmanship alive, and then go replicate and create more. Replicate your DNA and reproduce with hopefully an attractive partner. So. This in the environment that your ancestors had to deal with that, say for the last 300,000 years, or for your mammalian ancestors, not just Homo sapiens, you're looking at 350 or 400 million years of mammalian evolution and whatever the hell we came from before that. Your body's going to be prone to do certain things, and your mind and your body are not separate. So, the more you could have a grasp of reality, or a glimpse into why do I behave that way? Why do humans do some of the things that humans do? And the more that you could understand that, the better decisions you're going to be able to make over time. You're going to be able to not get caught up by emotions, not make silly emotional decisions, be like, oh, I see why my brain wants to do this or that right now. That's probably not the most optimal thing in this circumstance. So let's do this other thing instead. So I would just think of it that way. So I wouldn't say that and I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I wouldn't say that I try to trick my biology, or how did you say it? You said outwit my biology. Just be aware of it. Be aware of why do humans do some of the things that they do, and why was that useful within those contexts? And are we in that environment now, or are we in a different environment? Well, then modify your model for the circumstance that you're in. Weiss and I were talking about this this afternoon when we were training. He's saying, well, do you try to use force with the stock market, or do you just accept what the stock market is giving you, and then find the opportunities, within those parameters? And I said, no, very few people are rich enough to force the stock market. Warren Buffett's not rich enough to force it for very long. He could make some impacts in a particular stock for a week or so, but he's not going to force the market to do something. But he could look at the circumstances of the market and, use his wisdom and experience to create good situations within the circumstances that he's given. So I think that's probably a good way to think about it. I hope that makes sense. James says, thank you, Weiss. Legend among legends among legends. Weiss is the OG. Weiss is the first inductee to the UFC Hall of Fame. Just a great guy. I learned a lot from him. Tremendous respect for Weiss. Kevin says, thank you, Master Weiss. Thank you, Derek. I am a practitioner of jiu-jitsu, so to have Master Weiss join us this evening was a huge honor. Thank you again for sharing your time with us. Yeah, respect, Kevin. Respect. Hoyce is a great guy, as I said. I don't mean to exaggerate or hyperbolize it, but if for those of you who know who this man is literally like you're learning from from Aristotle, like who learned from Plato, who learned from Socrates. It's an honor to train with him and to learn from him in his area. So. There's nobody else. There's nobody else on earth that I've trained with. A lot of amazing people that I have a lot of respect for. Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell and other OG guys that were pioneers in the sport. But Hoyce is, as you say, a legend among legends, or the real OG, the double OG, the original gangster, the double OG. I'll explain that. I'll call him that tonight. Salvador says, thank you, Hoyce, a.k.a. Mr. Miyagi, sculpting the mind of a champion. I don't think anybody's born with a champion mind. I really like what you said there. Salvador. I don't think anybody's born with a champion mind. It is a sculpture. It is something that you have to create, something that you have to... I don't know any champions that lack discipline. Sometimes they lack motivation, but they don't lack discipline. I don't know any champions that just get to be lazy. So it is a sculpture, and it is an ongoing work of art. So, well said. I like the way you're thinking about that. Asher said, hey, Derek, thanks for sharing the wisdom of these brilliant martial artists. In hindsight, what time, energy, and spending items would you have said no to sooner on your path to millions? The biggest waste of time that I did is I spent too much time with the wrong people. And I really learned to stop that shit. That you can't push a loser up a mountain. It's just not good use of your time to try to push a loser up a mountain. It's not good use of your time to try to carry some dumbass up a mountain with you. And if you're trying to save all the idiots around you that won't even save themselves, it's going to be really hard for you to optimize your circumstances. You're going to be focused on struggle and survival instead of optimizing yourself to have the best possible outcomes. So I don't want you guys focused on. It's fine to struggle, okay? It's fine to struggle for a few years. I don't care if you feel like shit for a few years, but goddamn it, make sure that you do that for a reason and that you're well rewarded for it. Make sure you're well rewarded. And if it's not the suffering that matters. It's not the suffering that's painful. It's unnecessary suffering. Suffering for a reason is not very painful, folks. You don't mind suffering in the short term if you're going to be well rewarded in the long term. But there's just no reason to suffer unnecessarily. It's a contradiction. Don't do that to yourself. Don't suffer unnecessarily. And, some of the worst suffering is suffering fools, allowing fools in your environment, allowing detractors to cloud your motivation, to sully your spirit, to dampen your enthusiasm. Just get rid of these people. Get rid of these. If they don't share your goals, just get rid of them and go find somebody that's you have the same trajectory, that you have shared values, you have similar values and similar goals. You both want to go up there. You agree on that values level that you're going to be good to each other, can treat each other well, respect each other, not fuck each other over. And then you got to have, again, similar goals that, we're both here. We want to go up there, going up there somewhere, pretty close in that direction. And then third, differentiated skill sets. So you have these similar values, mutual goals, similar goals, and differentiated skill sets. That's a recipe to have great friends. You're going to be great for each other. You're going to be able to help each other at a low cost to yourself. You'd be very useful to your partner. At a low cost to themselves, they'd be very useful to you. And you're both moving in the same direction, very similar direction. And if you have those three elements, it's going to be great. And I don't trust any relationships that don't have those three elements. I don't trust them at all. I really avoid them. If I see somebody that has very different values than I do, I don't wish them bad necessarily. I probably don't wish them bad. I'm just like, we're not thinking the same way. I don't think that person's going to treat me the same way that I would treat them. So better just avoid that entirely. When I see the goals are different, when I see that, here's a person that has very different goals. We have similar values, but very different goals. Well, if I'm going over here and they're going over there somewhere, what are we going to do together? We're not going the same way. We're going, might be a good person inside, might be a generally good person, but we're going a different way. I'm not going to get off my path to get on theirs. So unless they're adjusting course and they see that my path would be better than their path, then that maybe they'll come with. But if they're not coming with and they're going over there and I'm going up there, then probably not a path forward for us together, is there? And then number three, that if they might have similar values, that they have same values you do, close enough. They want the same things that you do, but they're not fucking useful. They haven't figured out how to make themselves useful, how to contribute. So I'm going to be contributing to them, and they're not going to contribute back. Well, that doesn't work very well, does it? Is that really fair for me? Would it be fair for you? Don't do that to yourself. So you need all three. If I see one of those three things missing, I just take a pass. Be like, I wish them well, but I'm not going to spend time with them, Hope that's useful. That's the number one thing that I wish I did that sooner. Number one for sure. I wish I did that sooner.
The Ten Commandments Wealth went live on Easter Sunday. Join thousands of other people that made a commitment to a brighter future, to more prosperity, to brighter ways and better days. This program contains the 10 irrefutable laws you must live by if you want to propel yourself to elite levels of financial success. I've distilled these 10 commandments from 3.5 decades of success as a serial entrepreneur and investor. Do yourself a favor. Click that link. I'll see you inside the 10 Commandments Wealth. Right over there. Click that link. Bunny, what should you do? Click the link.